Have you ever had a moment so chilling it made your heart skip a beat? A moment so surreal that you questioned reality itself? Well, let me take you on a journey through one of the most unnerving experiences of my life. It all started on a night that seemed like it was ripped straight out of a horror movie. That's exactly what happened when my Uber driver greeted me. By my name. But I never told him. Imagine the shock, the confusion, the immediate sense of dread that washed over me. It was as if the universe had conspired to throw me into a real-life nightmare. It was a dark, stormy night, the kind of night where the wind howls through the trees and the rain pelts down so hard it feels like needles on your skin. The streets were eerily empty, illuminated only by the occasional flash of lightning. The atmosphere was thick with tension, and every shadow seemed to hide a lurking danger. I was waiting for my Uber, drenched in rain. My clothes clung to me and I could feel the cold seeping into my bones. I kept glancing at my phone hoping to see the car icon getting closer, but it seemed to be taking forever. The rain was relentless, and I was starting to feel a sense of desperation. When the car finally arrived, the driver smiled and said, "Hop in, Alex." His voice was calm, almost too calm, and his smile didn't reach his eyes. It was an eerie, unsettling smile that sent shivers down my spine. How did he know my name? I hadn't even opened the app to input my details yet. Chills ran down my spine. I never told him my name. My mind raced with possibilities. Had I met this driver before? Was it a coincidence? Or was something more sinister at play? I hesitated for a moment, but the rain was pouring down so hard that I had no choice but to get in. As we drove through the deserted streets, I could feel his eyes on me in the rearview mirror. His gaze was intense, almost predatory, and it made my skin crawl. I tried to focus on the passing scenery, but the feeling of being watched was overwhelming. The streets seemed to stretch on forever, each turn taking us further away from the familiar. He started talking about things only I knew, my favorite book, my last vacation, my secrets. His voice was smooth, almost hypnotic, and the way he spoke made it clear that he knew far more about me than any stranger should. My heart pounded in my chest as I tried to make sense of it all. How could he possibly know these things? My phone had no signal, and every turn took us further into the unknown. The familiar landmarks disappeared, replaced by dark, empty streets that seemed to lead nowhere. I felt a growing sense of panic as I realized I was completely at his mercy. There was no way to call for help, no way to escape. I asked him how he knew all this. My voice trembled as I spoke, and I could barely get the words out. The air in the car felt thick and oppressive, and I could feel my anxiety rising with each passing second. I needed answers, but I was terrified of what he might say. He just laughed, a cold, empty sound, and said, "I know everything about you, Alex. Everything." His words hung in the air like a dark cloud, and I felt a wave of dread wash over me. The way he said it with such confidence and certainty made it clear that he wasn't bluffing. He truly knew everything. My heart pounded as the car slowed to a stop in front of an old abandoned house. The windows were boarded up, and the paint was peeling off the walls. It looked like something out of a horror movie, and I felt a surge of fear as I realized we were completely alone. There was no one around to help, no one to hear me scream. I didn't know what to do. My mind was racing, and I felt paralyzed with fear. Should I run? Should I try to fight? The driver turned to me with that same eerie smile and said, "It's time, Alex." His words sent a jolt of terror through me, and I knew I had to act fast. As I stood there, memories of my past flashed before my eyes. My childhood, my friends, the books I loved to read. It was as if my entire life had led to this moment. I took a deep breath, trying to gather my courage. I turned to the driver and demanded to know who he was and why he was doing this. My voice was stronger now, fueled by a mix of fear and determination. He just smiled and said, "You don't remember me, do you? But I remember you, Alex. We have unfinished business." Suddenly it all came rushing back, a memory I had buried deep within my mind, a face from my past, someone I had wronged. The realization hit me like a ton of bricks. This was no random encounter, it was a reckoning. I bolted from the car, running through the rain-soaked streets. The driver was right behind me, his footsteps echoing in the night. My heart pounded in my chest as I searched for a place to hide, a way to escape. I found a narrow alley and ducked behind a dumpster, trying to catch my breath. The rain was relentless, and I could hear the driver getting closer. I knew I had to think fast if I wanted to survive. My eyes scanned the alley, and I spotted a metal pipe lying on the ground. I grabbed it, my hands trembling. This was it, my last chance to defend myself. The driver rounded the corner and I swung the pipe with all my might. It connected with a sickening thud and he fell to the ground unconscious. I stood there panting, the rain washing away my tears. I pulled out my phone and miraculously I had a signal. I called the police and waited, my body shaking with adrenaline. When they arrived, I told them everything. The driver was taken into custody and I was finally safe. As the police car drove away, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. It was over. The nightmare had ended and I was free, but the memory of that night would stay with me forever. Want to know more about what happened next? Watch the full video on my channel. The story doesn't end here and there's so much more to uncover. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Like, comment, and subscribe for the full story. Stay safe out there. And remember, sometimes the scariest things are the ones we can't explain. Until next time, take care and stay vigilant.